Imagine this, you've been working at the same company for 10 years. Every morning, you arrive on time. You do what's asked. You stay late when needed. Yet, somehow, your career feels stuck in place. Meanwhile, the colleagues who started with you, the ones who once turned to you for guidance, are now moving ahead, earning promotions, taking leadership roles, and building lives that seem to expand with every passing year. You watch them climb, and you wonder, what am I doing wrong? The answer is simple but uncomfortable: they never stopped learning. You did. The moment you walked out of school, you closed the book on your education. And while you believed experience alone would carry you forward, the truth is, if you stop learning, you are not standing still. You are moving backward. Here's the hard reality: in today's world, the only constant is change. The skills that kept you valuable yesterday may be obsolete tomorrow. Knowledge doesn't just give you an edge, it determines whether you rise or whether you fade into the background. And that's why we are here today. To uncover a truth that successful people already know: education isn't something you finish. It's something you do every single day. When you make learning a daily habit, you don't just change your career, you transform your thinking, your health, your relationships, your entire life. So the question is, are you ready to start educating yourself daily? We live in a world that changes faster than any generation before us. New technologies rise, old industries collapse, and the rules of the game are rewritten overnight. Think about it, just 10 years ago, very few people could imagine how artificial intelligence, automation, and digital platforms would reshape the way we work and live. Today, entire careers are disappearing because a piece of software or a machine can do the job better, faster, and cheaper. And tomorrow? Tomorrow it could be your job, your role, your expertise on the line. If you are not learning, you are falling behind, even if you think you're standing still. Knowledge is no longer just power, it is survival. It is the currency that buys you relevance in an unforgiving economy. The person who learns one new skill, even something small, always holds an advantage over the one who clings to what they already know. Picture two employees side by side. One keeps doing what they've always done, confident that experience will protect them. The other spends 20 minutes each day learning a new tool, exploring a new idea, sharpening their thinking. Which one do you think the company will value more in 5 years? Which one will still be employed? Which one will be promoted? But the need for daily learning isn't just about career security. It's about keeping your mind alive. The brain is like a muscle, it thrives on challenge, on novelty, on being stretched beyond its comfort zone. Stop feeding it, and it begins to shrink. It becomes rigid, predictable, stale. Keep feeding it, even in small doses every day, and it stays sharp, adaptable, creative. Science shows that continuous learning literally rewires the brain, keeping neural pathways active and delaying mental decline. In a sense, every new idea you expose yourself to is a form of mental youth. Now imagine this scenario: a mid-level employee in his 40s loses his job because automation replaced the very tasks he'd mastered over 20 years. For many, that would be the end of the story. But this man chooses a different path. Instead of clinging to the past, he begins to learn again: online courses, books, mentorship. Within 2 years, he reinvents himself as a consultant in an entirely new field, one that AI cannot replace so easily. He didn't have to be the smartest person in the room. He just had to keep learning. This is why daily education is not optional anymore. It is the difference between being swept away by the tides of change and riding those tides to new opportunities. It is the anchor that keeps you grounded, and the sail that carries you forward. The world will not slow down for you. The question is, will you speed up for it? Will you choose to invest in yourself every single day, knowing that the small lessons you collect today may be the very lifeline you need tomorrow? One of the biggest reasons people stop learning is not because they lack the ability, but because they are trapped by misconceptions. Somewhere along the way, we picked up false beliefs about what learning is and who it belongs to. And those beliefs silently hold us back. The first misconception is that learning is something that ends with school. We go through years of education, graduate, and believe the diploma is the finish line. But the truth is, formal education is just the foundation. It gives you tools, not the entire house. Real success comes from what you build on your own, brick by brick, day after day. If you stop at the foundation, you're left exposed, while others are building skyscrapers. The second misconception is the classic excuse, I don't have time. We all feel busy, but let's be honest, how many hours do we spend scrolling through social media, watching shows, or replaying the same routine? The reality is, you don't need hours each day to transform your life. 10 or 20 focused minutes can make a profound difference. Over a year, that adds up to entire books, courses, and new skills learned. The problem is not time, it's priority. And then there's a belief that it's too late. I'm too old to learn. This is perhaps the most dangerous lie of all. Some of the most successful people started fresh when others thought their time had passed. Imagine a man in his 50s, sitting in front of a computer, typing out his very first lines of code. At first, it feels impossible. He doubts himself. But he sticks with it, one lesson a day, one small victory at a time. 2 years later, he's not only writing code, he's working as a developer, thriving in a brand new career that he once thought was out of reach. Age didn't stop him. The only thing that could have was his belief that he couldn't start. These misconceptions are chains, and as long as you accept them, they keep you stuck. But the moment you break them, the world opens wide. Learning is not bound to classrooms, it doesn't demand endless hours, and it never expires with age. The truth is simple. As long as you're breathing, it's never too late to learn. So the question becomes, how do you actually do it? How do you make education a living, breathing part of your daily routine, rather than some abstract goal you never follow through on? The answer is simpler than most people think. You don't need to dedicate hours locked away in a library. You don't need to enroll in expensive programs or uproot your life. What you need is consistency and intention. Just a few small actions, repeated day after day, can completely reshape the way your mind grows and the way your life unfolds. One of the most powerful methods is reading. Think about this, if you commit to reading just 10 to 15 pages a day, that's not much more than the time you might spend scrolling on your phone. But stretched over a year, those few minutes add up to 15 or even 20 books. 20 books full of ideas, strategies, and wisdom that could transform how you think and act. Imagine how much more valuable, more insightful, more creative you would be if you carried those voices with you every day. And the beauty of reading is that you don't need to read for hours. Small doses compound into enormous change. But maybe you say, I don't like reading or I don't have the time to sit down with a book. Fine. Then turn your commute, your workout, or your chores into a classroom with podcasts and audiobooks. The 20 minutes you spend in traffic or the 30 minutes on the treadmill can either vanish into nothing, or they can become golden opportunities to absorb lessons from world-class thinkers, entrepreneurs, scientists, or storytellers. Imagine stepping out of your car not drained from the drive, but energized because you just learned something that could shift your perspective forever. And in our digital age, the internet has exploded with opportunities to learn. Platforms like Coursera, Khan Academy, and yes, even YouTube, offer entire libraries of knowledge at your fingertips. You can learn a new language, understand psychology, master digital marketing, or explore the universe through astrophysics, all from your living room, often for free. The excuses of geography, money, or access no longer apply. The classroom is wherever you carry your phone or your laptop. But here's the secret most people miss: learning isn't just about consuming information. It's about processing it, reflecting on it, and putting it into action. If you only listen, only read, you forget. But if you write it down, if you explain it to someone else, if you actually try it in real life, that's when knowledge sticks. That's when it becomes part of you. So keep a notebook, a journal, or even a simple notes app. Write down what you've learned each day. Summarize it in your own words. The act of translating knowledge into language locks it into your memory and turns passive learning into active growth. And most importantly, apply what you learn. If you read about a new way to communicate, try it in your next conversation. If you hear about a productivity hack, test it at work tomorrow. If you watch a tutorial, don't just nod along, open your computer and follow the steps. Action is where information becomes transformation. Without it, learning is just entertainment. With it, learning becomes the bridge to a different future. Consider this story: a man who spent every evening for years slumped on the couch, watching TV until he fell asleep. One day, he decided to replace just 30 minutes of that time with online learning. At first, it felt small, even insignificant. But night after night, he stuck to it. 30 minutes of coding lessons, 30 minutes of business strategies, 30 minutes of sharpening his skills. A year later, he wasn't the same man. He had built a portfolio, launched a side hustle, and eventually landed a new job that paid him double his old salary. His life didn't change because he made one giant leap, it changed because he took 30 small steps every night. That's the power of educating yourself daily. It doesn't demand more time than you already have. It demands discipline, focus, and the willingness to replace habits that drain you with habits that build you. Whether you're turning pages, pressing play on a podcast, diving into an online class, writing down your insights, or practicing them in the real world, the key is not what method you choose. The key is that you choose something, and you do it consistently. Because at the end of the day, education is not about perfection. It's about direction. Every page you read, every lesson you listen to, every idea you test nudges you forward. And over time, those nudges add up to a completely new trajectory. That is how you transform your mind, your career, and your life, not in one sweeping moment, but in the quiet, steady rhythm of daily learning. Imagine this: you dedicate every ounce of your learning energy solely to your career. You master technical skills, learn new tools, and chase professional achievements. But outside of work, your health suffers, your finances feel shaky, and your relationships lack depth. This is the hidden trap many fall into, believing education should only serve their job title. The truth is, the most successful and fulfilled people understand that daily learning must extend beyond the walls of the workplace. It must touch every corner of life. Think about your health. How much do you truly know about nutrition, sleep, and exercise? A single book on healthy habits could extend your lifespan and sharpen your energy in ways that no promotion ever could. Imagine discovering how food fuels your brain, or how 20 minutes of movement a day could change not only your body but also your confidence. When you educate yourself about health, you're not just avoiding illness, you're investing in decades of vitality. Now consider your finances. Many people work tirelessly for money yet know almost nothing about managing it. Without financial literacy, years of effort can vanish into debt or poor decisions. But with a little daily learning, maybe a podcast on investing, a book on budgeting, or a short course on entrepreneurship, you build the foundation for financial freedom. Imagine the peace of mind that comes not from earning more, but from knowing how to make your money work for you. And what about your relationships? How often do we expect love, friendships, and family bonds to just work without investing in the skills to nurture them? Learning about communication, psychology, or even mindfulness can transform the way you connect with others. A single insight about empathy or emotional intelligence could heal a broken relationship or deepen a bond you thought had plateaued. There's a powerful story of a businessman who reached a point of exhaustion. His company was struggling, his marriage was strained, and his health was declining. Instead of collapsing under pressure, he chose to learn, not more business strategies, but meditation, psychology, and wellness practices. The result? His company regained momentum, his home life flourished, and his own sense of joy returned. He didn't just educate himself for work, he educated himself for life. When you see education as a tool for holistic growth, you step into a life of balance. You don't just climb the career ladder, you build a foundation of health, wealth, and love that carries you higher than ambition alone ever could. And the best part? Every page you read, every idea you absorb, and every practice you adopt ripples outward, transforming not just you, but everyone you touch. Building the habit of daily learning is not about willpower alone, it's about designing your life so that learning becomes as natural as brushing your teeth. The first step is to start small. Don't aim to read a book a week right away or take on a 3-hour online course every night. Instead, begin with just 10 minutes of reading a day, or one podcast episode during your commute. The power lies in consistency, not intensity. 10 minutes every day may seem insignificant, but over time it compounds into hundreds of hours of knowledge that permanently reshape your mind. The second key is to link learning with your existing routines. Morning and evening rituals are perfect anchors. Imagine starting your day not by scrolling through social media, but by reading a few pages of a book that inspires you. Or picture ending your evening with a short video lecture instead of binge-watching another series. When learning becomes tied to something you already do, it feels effortless, almost automatic. Technology can also become your ally. Instead of letting your phone distract you, let it guide you. Set reminders for study time, use apps for language practice, download flashcards, or queue up audiobooks so they're ready when you exercise or commute. The same device that wastes hours of your life can also deliver the knowledge that changes it. Equally powerful is writing down what you learn and sharing it with others. When you explain an idea, you truly make it yours. Post a short reflection online, discuss it with a friend, or keep a learning journal. This not only reinforces memory but also builds a sense of accountability. You'll feel more motivated knowing your learning journey might inspire someone else. And perhaps the most overlooked opportunity is what I call dead time, those small, wasted moments waiting for the bus, standing in line, or riding the subway. One man transformed his life by using just 15 minutes of bus rides every day to study a new field. 2 years later, he wasn't just knowledgeable, he was considered an expert, opening doors to a career he once thought was out of reach. Habits don't form overnight, but once they do, they carry you further than motivation ever could. When learning becomes woven into the fabric of your daily routine, it stops being a task and starts being an identity. You are no longer someone who tries to learn, you are a lifelong learner. and that shift in identity is the moment real transformation begins. Greatness often leaves clues, and some of the most inspiring stories of our time prove just how powerful daily self-education can be. Take Oprah Winfrey. She grew up in poverty, endured hardship that would break most people, and yet she became one of the most influential women in the world. Her secret wasn't luck, it was her hunger for knowledge. Oprah has said that books were her ticket to freedom. She read constantly, learned relentlessly, and transformed herself into a symbol of wisdom and growth. Every page she turned became a stepping stone to the empire she eventually built. Or look at Elon Musk. He didn't have a degree in rocket science, yet he built a space company that rivaled NASA. How? He read. He studied. He taught himself engineering, physics, and aerospace. While most people wait for teachers, Musk proved that curiosity and persistence can become the best professors. His story is a reminder that with enough determination, you can educate yourself into entirely new worlds. And it's not just global icons. There are countless ordinary people who've rewritten their destinies through daily learning. One man, working a regular office job, decided to study investing and online business after work. For years, he quietly read, practiced, and experimented. While others spent evenings watching TV, he was upgrading his mind. Eventually, his side business took off, and he became a millionaire, proof that knowledge, when applied consistently, compounds into life-changing results. These stories matter because they break every excuse you might have. Too poor? So was Oprah. Too unqualified? So was Musk. Too ordinary? So was that office worker. The difference is not their starting point, it's their commitment to learn every single day. And if they could do it, so can you. So here's the truth, there is no secret formula, no overnight miracle, no magic shortcut. The only real difference between the person you are today and the person you want to become lies in what you choose to learn and apply each day. Think about it, just 20 minutes a day, invested in feeding your mind, sharpening your skills, and expanding your perspective. That's only a fraction of your time, but in 1 year, it could completely reshape your career, your confidence, your health, and even your relationships. The choice is in your hands. You can spend another evening scrolling endlessly, or you can use that same time to read a chapter, listen to a podcast, practice a new skill, or take an online course. Small, consistent actions will build momentum, and that momentum will transform into mastery. Every page, every video, every practice session is a deposit into your future. So I challenge you, don't let tomorrow be a carbon copy of today. Don't let another year slip by with you standing still while the world races forward. Start right now, yes, today. Pick up one book, enroll in one class, or choose one skill you've always wanted to master, and commit to learning it. Your future self is waiting. And that version of you is smarter, stronger, and more capable, because you decided to educate yourself daily. The question is, will you take that step? The time to begin is not someday. The time is now.